In the case of add-ins, it gets even worse because we can now be attacked by software which is completely not under our control. This, I think, represents significant risks to the people who are trying to create businesses based on add-ons and on all of their customers who may potentially use those add-ons. How significant do you think are these risks, and how are we going to mitigate them? Now, and you must all answer at once.
On three.
All right, so I think it's a very significant threat. Obviously, Internet Explorer being the largest market share is also the largest target of security attacks. So, we invest heavily in security. I mentioned in my session earlier about protected mode, the SSL improvements that we've made to prevent phishing, including anti-phishing in the browser and so on. But I think that really even beyond what we've done with protected mode, which you've seen, I think HP just partnered with Mozilla to do something similar. These are major operating system level architectural things that we've done to improve the security. I think though we're going to have to continue to do a lot more going forward. So it's an area we invest heavily in. I feel like it's basically an arms race. Just kind of going back to my experience as PM for the XML stack, there are, as I watched today in things like Ruby and Python, where bugs will come out, security exploits, denial of service exploits in the XML stack, and I'll think, oh yeah, I remember fixing that 5 years ago in our stack. But really the main problem here is that you're taking data from, could be anywhere. You're doing mashups, you're pulling data from untrusted sources, and the rendering engine is essentially a runtime that's taking this data that you don't know who the person is that published it, and you're running it in this runtime. So it's I think it's a serious issue, and really one that I think mandates that the browser is going to, there's going to be just a small handful of companies that can really invest enough to do the proper level of security.
So yeah, I think the notion of the web browser is, I think, probably unique in software in the scale to which or the portion of which time is spent dealing with ostensibly hostile content. You can't trust anything coming over the wire because you didn't put it there. I think we've obviously seen a lot of different aspects of the add-on model and ways it can interact with the browser and with the user. Over the years we've been putting them in Firefox, and one of the characteristics of add-ons we've seen that's been pretty important there is the ability to get them updated quickly. We find that when you're installing an add-on today, you really are installing software in your system. We try to make that clear through the installation process and through the vetting process for our sites. But in addition to the importance of that stuff having high integrity itself, being able to get updates out, whether it's for functional or more importantly for security issues, has been pretty key for us. I think that's worked out pretty well. In terms of sort of the future of the architecture of add-ons there, I think we certainly see that there are different classes of add-ons now that want to have access to different kinds of functionality. Things like the famed, and rightly so, Grease Monkey, I think Aaron's around here somewhere. We really want to manipulate the content, don't need a lot of special privileges, which might be able to be sandboxed in an appropriate way. And other things like our Ubiquity command line for the web, where we're looking at bringing in extensibility and customization in a way that we can do without the full privileges of the application. So segmentation of that stuff, I think, is ultimately the future for add-ons and security.
Yeah, I agree. Building on what you said, updating is obviously very important. It's also very important to limit the capabilities that add-ons might have. And this is one of the ideas that Aaron, who's working on our extension model, and Nick wrote a little bit about and ideas in our design doc for our upcoming extension model. And the idea there is you only need some capabilities as an extension. You should declare what you need up front. And then users can make choice about whether they want to allow an extension to have those capabilities. Also, if the extension were to get compromised for whatever reason, it only has limited APIs, limited capabilities that it can take advantage of in exploiting the browser. So we think those are some pretty good ideas. Of course, we haven't delivered it yet, so we'll see how it all pans out. The other thing is the web security model, while not perfect, has been vetted and exercised quite a bit. And we've seen lots of people trying to attack it. We've also made it a lot stronger over the last 10, 15, 20 years. So we're looking at an extension model that builds on those security principles by letting you build cool extensions with JavaScript and CSS and HTML rather than having to do something in native code.